Revelation 13, verse 16 and 17 warns, "He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no man may buy or sell except one who has the mark." Well, today in Britain, those ancient words echo through modern headlines. Prime Minister Keir Starmer just mandated digital IDs for every adult. No ID, no job, no compliance, no survival. Christians worldwide are watching prophecy unfold as biometric surveillance becomes mandatory. Tony Blair pushed this for decades. Bill Gates made secret visits to number 10. And now the trap springs shut. Is the system the Bible warned about? Is it here? Well, the evidence is mounting. The implications are staggering. So keep watching. And as Britain launches its beast-like digital ID system controlling who can work or survive, American families face their own economic persecution. 1 in 4 low-income households sacrifice 15% of income to keep the lights on while global elites implement their control grid. Since 2022, electricity costs soar faster than inflation, another tool of oppression. Fight back with this little energy-saving device. Stabilizes your home's electrical current, reduces dirty electricity, helps lower those crushing bills. Just plug it in. It works instantly, plus get a $100 utility rebate certificate. It's now 60% off at don'twastepower.com. Resist their economic warfare. Order yours at don'twastepower.com today. The link is down below. So this was the big news out of the United Kingdom. Keir Starmer addressing the United Kingdom public, saying a digital ID will be required to work in his country.
The truth is, and that is why today I am announcing this government will make a new free-of-charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this Parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that. Because decent, pragmatic, fair-minded people, they want us to tackle the issues that they see around them. And of course, the truth is, we won't solve our problems. And that is why today...
Oh, man, I just get chills. I mean, that is straight up revelation. The mark of the beast, Revelation 13, verses 16 and 17. And here's an interesting anecdote. We got a lot to cover in this segment. But President Trump said something interesting today. He was talking about a peace deal in Gaza. Now, this commenter on X writes, if the 7-year tribulation starts with a peace deal, we are almost there. The Bible says it will be 3.5 years of a temporary false peace, which then leads to sudden destruction and the great tribulation, the mark of the beast. Now, check this out.
It's going to be... Hello, Peter. And it's looking like we have a deal on Gaza. And we'll let you know.
Mr. President.
I think it's a deal that will get the hostages back. It's going to be a deal that will end the war. It's going to be a deal it's going to be peace. I think we have a deal. That'll be number 8, Peter. Not 10. Hello.
Now, here's the caveat here. The caveat is that if President Trump signs that deal, and let's just say it's a 7-year treaty between Hamas and Israel, that would technically make him the Antichrist. But the Antichrist rises out of Europe. So that doesn't necessarily line up. But who are the other players involved in those peace negotiations? Where does King Charles fall into this? Well, this new digital ID, the United Kingdom, that's where King Charles holds court over, right? Now, I've covered this before, and if you haven't been paying attention, this is the Prince Charles coat of arms. Prince Charles' coat of arms, the Antichrist, and Revelation chapter 13. Now, there's a great book. I've talked about it here before. It's called The Antichrist in a Cup of Tea. It lays out the entire case that Prince Charles is the Antichrist. And this is his coat of arms. Prince Charles' coat of arms contains all of the biblical symbols of the Antichrist and the dragon. Now, Red Pill Drifter says, I'm not saying he's the Antichrist, but this is without a doubt who they are trying to usher in, and they will want it ASAP. He says, before you read Revelation chapter 13 below, keep in mind that when it refers to the beast, it's speaking of the Antichrist. When it refers to the dragon, it's speaking of Lucifer, Satan, the great dragon of Revelation 12:9. The same with the greater beast that speaks as a dragon, Satan, or Lucifer. Now, I'm not going to go into the full breakdown of this. What I would encourage you to do is just find the book, The Antichrist in a Cup of Tea. I think the PDF's available. Tim Cohen is the author. I've actually interviewed him before. I've actually even been to his house and sat down and discussed the book at great length with him. I consider him a friend. Revelation 13 goes into great detail, each verse. And when you look at the verse and you compare it to each point, you have the mouth of a lion, the 10 lions, the body of a leopard, the harp of David, the feet of a bear, order of the garter, the red dragon of Wales, Merovingian crown, the white horse, the eyes of a man, the unicorn of the little horn. This is all direct connection to that prophecy of the identity of the Antichrist. So it's interesting that we're seeing this digital ID rise out of the United Kingdom. Now, I tracked this clip down. I thought it was really wild to hear John Rich and Tucker Carlson talking about the mark of the beast. And he lays it out quite clearly. John Rich, listen.
Our money and where the mark of the beast. How is it possible, we would all say, that you could track every human being in the world and know where they are and how they get their money and where they spend their money? I mean, that's just impossible. And here we sit going, oh no, they're tracking us right now. They know exactly where we spend our money and where we get our money. Because it says you won't be able to buy or sell unless you have the mark of the beast. You could replace the word beast with system.
Revelation says that.
Oh yeah. Without the mark.
You won't be able to buy or sell
unless you bear the mark of the beast. And when you go back and look that up in the Hebrew, it's talking about the global power that's in place at that point, the system that is in place.
What is the beast?
The beast is going to be whatever entity, a group of nations it speaks of, that will set into motion. We always talk about globalists and the globalist agenda and all these things. It will be a globalized stranglehold on the human population that they will know where you spend your money, where you get your money. Reminds me of central bank digital currency, if something like that happens.
So I've read, I'm embarrassed. This is being recorded. I probably shouldn't admit this. I've read Revelation, actually.
Sure.
And I tried to understand it last year. I didn't realize it said, how did I miss that? It says you can't buy or sell without the mark of the beast?
Without the mark, yes, that's
John,
correct.
the Apostle John, on some Greek island 2,000 years ago said that.
Yes, he did.
Amazing to see Tucker Carlson.
The mark of the beast.
Get the news. This is the book I'm referring to, The Antichrist in a Cup of Tea. This is actually, there's a DVD accompaniment with all the presentations by Tim Cohen. Remarkable work. It's definitely worth picking up a copy if you can find one. The Draco system, the mark of the beast, digital enslavement. Nicholas Vienneman.
Interesting. This is a fascinating conversation.
I've been researching this for months and months and months, and I've wanted to put it out there. You know, it's very controversial, but it's very spiritual. We've been enslaved. We live in a hologram. This is another thing people don't understand, is that we live in a hologram. Our consciousness is real. We are powering this. We are powering the hologram. This is why the Dracos need us. Because they're disconnected from source, they can't create timelines. They need us to create the hologram on their behalf, to trap us so that they could harvest energy loosh for them. And I'll tell you what the mark of the beast is all about, the digital ID is all about. That's not only tracking you, but that's tracking and tethering or mapping your frequency, which is your soul, your toroidal field, into their synthetic timeline, their own synthetic hologram. Yes, they're creating a hologram that's disconnected to source field, where they lock your soul into their synthetic timeline, right? So that they would be making you agree in accepting unconsciously, like they did with the vaccines, to lock your soul so that they could harvest your emotional loosh energy. And they're going to make it like much better than Earth. It will be like paradise, but without sovereignty. You will never question it because it will be so great, but without sovereignty, without freedom. And that's what the mark of the beast, that's what is losing your soul.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting indeed. Oh, but we're not done yet, folks. The mark of the beast has been trending on X today. He writes here, Keval writes, the mark of the beast is trending because the UK government is making digital ID mandatory, y'all. The Five Eyes are already intercepting cell phone calls, AI software scanning our text, GPS knows our location. This makes it impossible to hire illegal immigrants. And this is the digital identity, all connected to smart cities, telecommunications, e-government, social platforms, e-commerce, humanitarian response, travel, mobility, food sustainability, financial services, and healthcare. Now check this out. This is kind of creepy, but it basically it's like, Satan talking to his minions about the implementation.
Now, in the coming years, all shall receive the mark. The mark has already started in implication. Are we all aware of the mark? If not, please educate yourselves. In the mark of the beast, refusers of it shall not be able to buy or sell. They shall become beggars, cut out of the system, and that will be the pure delight. For they will be the wise. We brothers will never have the mark, for we will know that it really is control, and we cannot be controlled as we are the controllers. The mark will be the connection between AI, direct connections, free will, dependent on the algorithm. You see, at the moment, man has free will. It was given to him by God. That gives him the right to choose. Well, once we give him the mark, that free will belong to us. We will be able to track his movements, his body, his money. His decisions will be monitored 24/7. We will replace his God. A central computer that gathers all his data, from the smartphone to the mark. Now I will detail how all of you will slowly start to implement this technology.
So obviously Keir Starmer was at that meeting, right? People in the United Kingdom are pushing back. The memes are already starting to flow. Here's a picture. Keir Starmer, Tony Blair, holding up their IDs. They have horns on their heads. Clearly apocalyptic. Translation, you will not be able to function in a society without the mark of the beast. Say no to the digital ID. People saying, do not accept the digital ID. Do not accept the mark of the beast. This is it. We must hold out until the end. Even if you're outcast from society, do not take the mark. If you take the mark, you cannot be saved. Do not do it. Here is a breaking news from Sky News.
Mari, what... Breaking news now. Digital ID will be made law for all adults in an effort to tackle small boats. Downing Street believes that a mandatory ID card system will help stop illegal immigrants working. Let's bring in our political...
Think about that for a second. The digital ID will help stop immigrants from working. It'll help stop small boats. You see, they let all those people into that country. Problem, reaction, solution. It's classic.
Correspondent Mari Aurora. Mari, what more do we know about this?
Yeah, well, Gareth, this is interesting because this is something that has been spoken about a lot. Tony Blair, for instance, has been talking about this for years and years as what he always believed was one of the best ways to try and reduce illegal immigration and the ability for people to work illegally here in the UK. But Sky News understands that we will have an announcement, could be as soon as tomorrow, from the Prime Minister on these mandatory ID cards, an ID card system, the Brit card. And essentially what this will mean, it will be mandatory for all adults here in the UK. It will make it easier for employers and for landlords to make sure that those they are employing or renting or to actually have the right legal immigration status here in the UK. They can do it using a smartphone app. It's also, according to the government, going to make it easier for people here in the UK to essentially prove their status or their ability to kind of qualify to be able to work here in the UK. And essentially, this is all about immigration. This is all about trying to tackle small boats crossings. We've had a lot of conversation about small boats and about other European countries, especially the French, who have been concerned with the kind of pull factors here in the UK in terms of being able to work in the black market, being able to work illegally here in the UK. We already know that France has an ID card system. They've had it for many, many years. And it's something that the UK has always resisted, partly because of questions around civil liberties and freedoms, but also...
civil liberties, freedoms, throw them out the window. We let all these people into the country. Now we got to track them. We got to prevent them from working. Perfect problem, reaction, solution. Even Cernovich, 7 hours ago, writing The Mark of the Beast. He sees it. Cheerful Mark writes, here's my take on digital ID, Mark of the Beast. It's not supernatural. The ability of the government to lock you out of society unless you have the mark is such a monumentally bad idea. People have known about it for 2,000 years. Katie Hopkins, who's been a guest on this program, 11 hours ago, she writes, batshit bonkers Britain, 26 September. The government says digital ID will make it harder to work because that's really our biggest problem right now. Illegals wanting to contribute? Extreme sarcasm. Listen.
It's a breaking news, still not quite in batshit bonkers Britain, where apparently I'm a wanted woman. First up, digital ID. 4 words you need to learn, and fast. I will not comply. It will be, of course, a centralized point of digital failure. Just look at what's gone on at Land Rover and every British airport, but much more than that. It's a centralized form of control that we do not need. The government said it will make it harder for people to work. Oh my goodness, because that's exactly what Great Britain needs right now, isn't it? We need to make it harder for people to work. I mean, last time I saw some rubber dinghy rapids rocking up on the shoreline with Mohammed, Mahmoud and Omar, they were so desperate to work. I mean, that's the reason they came here, just wanted to work. For Christ's sake. In other news, Tony Blair says that he's going to help run Gaza and Palestine. And the last thing that Palestine and Israel need right now is that stirring little jugged shit goblin rocking up and running anything. I might just start a rumour or two that Tony Blair is actually gay. And finally, Morgan McSweeney, yeah, that ginger one, he has fraudulent...
You know, it's interesting what you just said there about Tony Blair. I'm going to go back to that.
In other news, Tony Blair says that he's going to help run Gaza and Palestine. And the last thing that Palestine and Israel need right now is that stirring little jugged shit goblin rocking up.
I have to laugh because she's just so funny. But remember what I said earlier about what President Trump said about the peace agreement? Remember? Who else? I asked who else could be a part of that discussion. Now we know. Tony Blair.
running anything. I might just start a rumour or two that Tony Blair is actually gay. And finally, Morgan McSweeney, yeah, that ginger one, he has fraudulently put in £740,000 worth of donations into the Labour Party. I mean, who would have thought that there would be fraud in this Labour government? After all, they lost their corruption minister on corruption charges. They lost their housing minister because she got a third home that she didn't pay tax on. They lost their homelessness minister because she made people homeless. So why would Morgan McSweeney be any different? That's it, my darlings. Not quite in batshit bonkers Britain. News.
Katie Hopkins laying it out there. And there are others. Neil Oliver, 5 hours ago. Digital ID, I say, at least, is the keystone in the oligarch bridge to their brave new world.
And reading digital ID, I say at least, is the keystone in the oligarch bridge to their brave new world. The key that locks the cage after the last one of us steps inside. But on account of how many people are wide awake and reading the playbook for themselves, digital ID is revealed not as what they say it is, but what it really is. It's never about what they say it's about, remember? Digital ID isn't about keeping us safe. It's about keeping us where they can see us, where we can't move or do anything without permission in advance. Too many people see and understand, and this is why it won't work. As I say, in the end, it's all about money. In every instance, a reasonable person has only to ask, who benefits from this? Who's getting even richer than they were before? Whatever you think the oligarchs would never do in pursuit of money, think again. They would do that. They already have done that. Erasing people, entire peoples, their own people, children, you name it, and it's happened before and will happen again.
No, I wouldn't go as far as to say it's a money thing. It's clearly a control thing. 20 reasons why government digital ID are awful and must be stopped. Let's listen to this guy for a second.
Invariably, it's going to expand into healthcare. 20 reasons why digital ID must be resisted at all costs. First of all, functionality creep. They say they're introducing it for immigration, but invariably it's going to expand into healthcare, banking, voting, driving, internet use, travel. Over time, this is going to become a Chinese social credit style system. Second, loss of anonymity. Everyday life is going to be logged and it's going to be tracked. Cash, transportation, movements, communications, it's all going to be tied back to a central profile. So the government can decide not to like any aspect of that and it can restrict you. Number 3, government overreach. Shifts the balance of power further from the to the state from the citizen. We must now constantly prove who we are instead of the state proving any guilt. Number 4, of course, this is not going to stop illegal immigration. Digital IDs don't prevent people from crossing borders. It simply makes it harder for the people who are living here legally. If you want to stop illegal immigration, what you do is you leave the ECHR and you immediately remove people who come here to an offshore territory, something like St. Helena's, as Australia has already demonstrated. That is the only thing that works. Number 5, it makes us more dependent on a phone. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of phones are snatched in the UK every year, and now they want a digital ID which is accessible only on your phone, which over time is going to be the only way to get anything done, and we know that's going to happen. Number 6, an enforcement sham. Employers who are willing to employ illegal immigrants are going to carry on doing what they're doing now. They just pay cash if they need to. If you want to stop a lot of this illegal employment, start with DoorDash and Deliveroo and start delivering massive fines to them or other employers. Go into kebab shops, go into all the places where people work at the moment as illegal immigrants and they're paid cash or they're paid through some other means for some voucher system. Go after that. Don't come after the rest of us.
Now, he goes on to list several more. I'll go ahead. You know what I'll do is I'll retweet that. I'll repost that so that you can check it out on our X feed. Here we have this. Labor on digital IDs this morning. We're going to make sure everyone gets one.
I don't need
UK citizens will
if I don't?
will have to have one. Well, the plan is that we're going to roll this out by the end of
No,
Parliament.
my question is what if I don't? What if I've got my job, so I don't need to show this to anyone? So what if I just don't do it?
So if you don't have one, then you'll have a problem if you want to get a new job.
No, I'm saying I'm not doing that. So I'm not seeking a job. So why should I get the digital ID card? Why do I do it?
Well,
Is there some fine for not doing it? Is there an incentive to do it? I'm just thinking I've got no reason to do it.
Yeah, look, this isn't a heavy-handed approach. We're not planning to go around finding people. But what we are going to do is make sure that everybody's got one. In the same way, Charlie, as you've got a national insurance number, if you're a citizen of this country, we'll make sure that everybody has a digital ID.
So help me with this. I know we're plotting through this, but everyone watching who's got a job has got a national insurance number. So when these digital ID cards exist, if I just go to my employer and show them my national insurance number, is that not sufficient? Are they being precluded from employing me?
It won't be sufficient. I just want to be really clear about that.
So they can't employ people unless they've seen one of these
a digital ID.
cards.
Yes, that's right. That is the plan. UK citizens will have to have one. Well, the plan is that
no one will be able to buy or sell. Here is Nigel Farage.
Illegal. So the Prime Minister says we must have digital ID. That's the way we'll stop illegal immigration. Well, think about it. Germany has ID cards, strict ID and checks. It's made no difference at all in Germany, and nor will it here. All that digital ID will be is a means of controlling the population, of telling us what we can and can't do, of fining the innocent. And didn't we see it all when we had the pandemic, when you had to have vaccine ID to travel, to do various things? Did that stop the COVID pandemic spreading? Did it? Hell, all it did was put cost and inconvenience on everybody else. I also worry about massive data banks being held by the government, being hacked by foreign governments, by private companies, by criminals. I do not see a single benefit to the government having digital ID other than them controlling what we do, what we spend, and where we go. And we, in Reform, are wholly opposed to it in every single way.
And everybody in the UK should. Okay, where's the Bill Gates clip? We've got a Bill Gates clip here. Check this out. This was posted October 21st of 2024. Well, now you know what Bill Gates was doing in number 10 Downing Street with Keir Starmer. Instructions. Vaccine passports, NHS digital passports, digital ID, call it what you want, but it all amounts to the same thing, a biometric digital wallet for a 24/7 surveillance state. This is October 21st of 2024. So that's when this was posted. The headline, Labour wants NHS passports for all patients despite privacy fears. Listen.
We need some sort of digital certificate. And of course, we need some sort of digital certificate because we're likely to say to people working in nursing homes or hospitals or maybe even schools that they need to authenticate that they've been vaccinated, and even travel will have some of that. So it's exciting that Pfizer did a great job, broke every record. And of course, we need some sort of digital certificate because...
I mean, there he is. He was working with them. I mean, people are speaking out. Here is every adult in the UK. A rollout was officially unveiled today. Digital IDs have officially arrived. Dylan Page.
Immigration is the Okay, guys, breaking news. It's actually happening. So every adult in the UK will now be required to have a new government-issued digital ID. Why, you may ask? Well, apparently immigration is the reason. So this announcement is supposed to be made official tomorrow by Keir Starmer, and anyone starting a new job in the UK will be soon required to present that digital ID. Now, this is all because it's said to be helping illegal immigration, because those digital IDs would then be automatically checked checked against a central database that will see if you are legally allowed to work in the UK or not. Now, it probably should be noted that this has been a talking point in the UK for many years, but no government before has done this, one, because of massive public hesitancy around digital IDs, but also because of the big questions of whether this would even help the problem it's intended to help in the first place. There's also a lot of other concerns about privacy, about civil liberties, about potential cyber attacks, having access to all of that data. And then also the big question is that if it doesn't have the intended effect that it does, so it doesn't drop that UK small boat crisis, then will it be abolished? Will it be taken away? And if not, then why? So let me know what you guys think.
Yeah, it won't. Compulsory digital ID. Here's John O'Looney's open message to Keir Starmer.
History books. September the 25th, 2025, and a day that will forever remain in infamy in the British history books as Keir Starmer, the globalist puppet communist scumbag, announces his desire for digital ID and the fact that he's making it compulsory. So this is an open message to Keir Starmer. Let me tell you, Keir, as a man who has a British passport and a British driving licence and a registered British home address and is also on the electoral register, I'm never, ever, ever going to engage with your digital ID. You are the person deliberately importing these young men of fighting age into the UK using the Home Office and then sending the boats back to France for reuse. You're creating the problem to offer the solution. Order out of chaos, they call it, don't they? Well, this is an open video for you. Fuck you, Keir Starmer. I'm never going to engage with your digital ID. You can stick it up your ass. And if you want to send your Masonic thugs to come and get me, you know where I am. I've made it very open about who I am and where I am. I'm never going to do your digital ID, and I would urge everyone to take the same stand, because if you don't, this globalist communist scumbag is going to destroy your lives with digital ID, the digital currency that follows, and a digital prison. I think that's pretty obvious. And this is going to be as he continues to flood this country non-stop with young men of fighting age from a foreign land. To my mind, Keir Starmer is the terrorist threat, not the British people. And I will never engage in your digital ID. Fuck you, Keir Starmer.
Well, he certainly didn't mince any words. John O'Looney. Let's see. Is this his actual... Oh, yeah. That's a follow from me, man. That's a follow from me. Thanks, John. Appreciate your remarks. So this is where we're at right now. Problem, reaction, solution. Oh, here's another guy.
Thing coming. Digital IDs are now going to be officially announced. Apparently, you will have to have one to work in the UK. You'll be forced to have one. Well, let me tell you something. I will not have one. This is the hill to die on. We want freedom. This is not about left versus right. This is about you attempting to take away our freedoms. Keir Starmer, you've got another thing coming. You don't realise the level of resistance there is in this country. You don't realise the lengths that the UK people will go to when it comes to pushing back against your authoritarian, dystopian, Orwellian measures. It's not going to solve migration. You created a problem and then you proposed a solution, and we're not interested in your solution. This is just an opportunity for you to enforce your totally screwed up United Nations Agenda 2030. You're a puppet. You're useless. You are put in power because you are a submissive, emasculine failure of a man, a terrible leader. I would say the worst one this country has ever witnessed. So I will not listen to you and your mandates. I will not listen or obey your digital ID. We know this will be used for a social credit system. We know this is going to be an opportunity for top-down control from technocratic globalists. I will fight to my bitter end against this authoritarian, top-down, globalist, technocratic, dystopian, Orwellian fantasy that the likes of you, the United Nations, World Economic Forum, Tony Blair seem to want to put on the British public. We know your game and we will not play it.
Montgomery Toms, man. So where are we headed, folks? Is this it? Is this the mark of the beast system? Footsteps of the Antichrist? Sure feels like it. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is not some distant threat. It's happening right now. Britain just crossed the Rubicon into total surveillance. Keir Starmer's words should terrify every freedom-loving soul, no matter where you live. You will not be able to work without digital ID. That's not governance, that's control. When government decides who can earn a living based on compliance with their tracking system, we've entered the territory that Revelation warned about. The convergence is undeniable. Tony Blair's decades-long push, Bill Gates' secret meetings, biometric databases, work authorization tied to digital compliance, every element mirrors biblical prophecy. Whether you're a believer or just someone who values liberty, this precedent threatens all of us. And once implemented, there is no going back. So here's my question. Is Britain's mandatory digital ID, do you believe that it is the mark of the beast system? Drop a yes or a no. Tell us in the comments and stand for freedom. Grab your Liberty gear at our merch shop. It's linked down below. No digital ID required.